Welcome to today's webinar. We are going to be looking at mastering meta ads for local insurance agents. And what we want to get into today is how to drive leads, retain clients, and maximize your return on investment. And what we'll be covering today is these items: how to target your ideal clients with meta ads for maximum impact. We'll look at proven strategies to generate high quality leads and do that consistently. We'll talk about some budget friendly tactics to maximize return on investment, even with small ad spend. We'll talk about some real world case studies showing what works for insurance agents. We'll discuss how to optimize and scale your campaigns effectively. And we'll also look at compliance best practices to help you avoid costly advertising mistakes. If you're not familiar with ABM and myself, who am I and why should you be listening to me? My name is Carl Willis. I am the CEO at Agent Branding and Marketing. I've been marketing online since 1997, back in the days of dial-up. I am a former financial advisor, Series 6, 7, 63, 65, Life, Accident, and Health, author of the Internet Marketing Book for Small Business, creator of the Marketing Classroom. I am an international keynote speaker on business growth and lead generation, and widely accepted as the go-to expert for insurance agency digital marketing strategies. And I work with local insurance agents throughout the U.S. And so today we're going to be dealing with meta ads. You may know Meta as Facebook or Instagram. Meta is the umbrella parent company. And when we talk about meta ads in the ecosystem of digital marketing, we are looking at this component of the marketing ecosystem, number 7 here: social media advertising. So that's going to be your Facebook and Instagram advertising piece of that pie in the ecosystem. And so that's what we'll be focused on today in our presentation. So with that, let's talk about unlocking the power of meta ads and why meta ads make sense for your insurance agency and for growing your business. When we talk about meta ads, one of the things you need to understand is that meta ads give you the opportunity for precision targeting. And when we look at precision targeting, here's what I want you to understand. You are able to reach users by age, location, income level, and then their interests. Things like home ownership or parenting, for example. And then there is a cost effectiveness component to meta ads. You can start running your ads for as low as $5 a day, and you're going to get really good coverage, even at that small of a budget. And then, of course, you have real-time insights, so you can see who is clicking, interacting, or converting as they go through your marketing funnel. And of course, when we're talking about advertising and we're talking about marketing, you need to keep in mind of this entire marketing funnel process. And so the top of the funnel is the awareness. That's where you're going to do your initial targeting. And then you've got your clicks, your leads, and then finally into your sales. And so meta ads are going to allow you to operate at all levels of the funnel because of that precision targeting. You're going to be able to use the behavior of your prospective audience to really dial in the targeting metrics on those ads so that you're engaging with that audience as they go throughout the stages of the funnel in the sales process. And so that's what makes it a good precision tool to use in your marketing mix. Now, one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure that you are choosing the right objective for your campaign. And one of the great things about Meta is Meta has campaign objectives that are geared towards every level of that marketing funnel. There are awareness objectives, there are consideration objectives, and then there are decision objectives. and you can structure your ad campaigns according to each of those objectives as the prospect is moving through their decision-making process. So let's talk about a couple of these different structures that you may want to use in your ads. Of course, there are lead generation ads, and what that's going to do for you is that's going to simplify quote requests or consultation signups. And really, there's two forms of lead generation ads you can run. There are the on-site lead generation ads where you are using a form that is provided by Meta, and that form will tie into your CRM. Now, the great thing about that type of ad is the user never leaves the Facebook or the Instagram environment. Basically, they submit their information by swiping or clicking a button, and that information is pre-populated based on their user information on their Facebook or their Instagram account. So it's a very smooth, seamless lead generation process. Now, the thing I'm going to tell you about that, what we're finding with those lead generation ads is you want to have some pre-screening questions if you're going to keep the user within the Meta environment. If you don't have some pre-screening questions, lead quality can be a little sloppy. So if you put those pre-screening questions in, your lead quality will be a little better. The second alternative you have is you can send those leads offsite to a landing page of your own and capture the leads there. You'll find your lead quality is a little better by doing that. That's our preferred method of doing things. Unless we're really wanting to grab a lot of leads quickly, then we'll use the on-platform lead generation option and just put some screening questions to it. Second type of campaign you want to run is a brand awareness ad. And what this is going to do is it's just going to simply do the very thing we're talking about. It's going to brand you, brand your agency. It's going to help build trust and awareness in your local market. One of the things that I always recommend any of our clients do is that you constantly have a brand awareness ad running. Even if you're running it on a $5 a day budget, that you constantly are keeping your name and your agency name out in front of your target audience. It's just a continual reminder that you are there, that you are open for business, and that you are at the top of mind for your prospective customer. The other thing you're going to find is it will do two things simultaneously. It will help grow your page audience because you're going to get people who are liking on the content of that ad. And so you can invite those individuals to follow your business page. So you will grow your page audience. But the other thing you'll find is people will actually click off to your website from those ads as well. So it's going to give you some website traffic. Although that's not its main objective, you will get website traffic from those ads if you structure them accordingly. And then finally, you have traffic ads. And traffic ads are specifically designed to drive visitors to your website or to your landing page. Ideally, you want to send people to a targeted landing page for whatever the content of the ad is. So for example, if your ad is for auto insurance, you want to send them to a page that is specifically geared towards towards auto insurance. That way, once they land, they're not having to go search for related information. We want them to go straight to the information they're looking for. And so a traffic ad is meant to take people off-site to your website or to your landing page. So it will drive a good deal of traffic to you. So those are three different types of ads you can use. They all target the different areas of the funnel. The brand awareness ad would be the top of the funnel. The traffic ad would be the middle of the funnel, that consideration phase. The lead generation ad being the bottom of the funnel where they're ready to identify themselves and ready to begin that conversation with you. Now, we obviously want to make sure that we are getting in front of the right people. If we're going to run advertising, we want to make sure that we are in front of the right people, the most responsive people, and the people who are going to be your best potential customer. And this is where meta ads really shine because we are able to target based on behavioral information and demographic information, and that's where it stands out. And so, a couple of things we want to look at is number one, location targeting. So, you're going to want to focus on your service area, and in particular, be thinking about specific zip codes because Meta will allow you to target by zip code. Are there certain zip codes that are more profitable for you as an agent? That can be the target zip codes that you use for your advertising campaign. Secondarily, you want to be thinking about the demographics. Who is your ideal demographic avatar for this ad campaign? What is the age range, the income level, family status? You also might want to look at interests, home ownership, Medicare, new parents, those types of things. So, for example, you might be targeting a homeowner's insurance campaign that is targeted at new home buyers in your city. And so, this is the beautiful thing about meta ads. Unlike pay-per-click ads on Google, where you are searching for keyword based targeting, which is showing intent because of the search, in meta ads, what you're doing is you're searching for the profile of your best prospect. So it's going to be important that you do a little homework on the front end, look at your current book of business, and identify what are the common characteristics of my most profitable customers. Age range, type of work they do, what does their family unit look like, where do they live, what kind of work do they do, what are their hobbies, their interests, their behaviors, and then put that information in for your targeting. Now, let me say this about meta ads, and this is going to be really important. Meta, like everybody else, has rolled out an AI assisted component to their advertising. So in Meta, theirs is called Advantage Plus Audiences. And my recommendation to you is that you stay away from Advantage Plus Audiences. Right now, what we find is it's very sloppy in its targeting, and the performance of your ads is going to go down significantly if you select that. You're better off to go with your own parameters for your targeting. And then if you want to tighten that targeting up even more, upload your own data and then have Meta work off of that data to build custom audiences. And we'll get into that here in just a moment. But don't use the Advantage Plus targeting or the Advantage audience targeting. You're going to find it's a little too sloppy at this point. Stick with just the classic interest, behaviors, and demographic targeting, and then the location targeting as well. And that's going to give you the best possible results. Now, let's back up for a second as we're talking about getting in front of the right people. The other component that we want to take a look at is using uh, custom audiences. And if you've got data that you can upload, the other way to get your audience targeting super effective is to upload your custom audience. So if you've got an email list or a customer list, you can upload that into Meta as a custom audience and use that for your advertising. The other thing that you can do is you can create a lookalike audience based on that data. And when you create a lookalike audience, what you're telling Meta to do is to go match data points with the data that you've created. And so Meta is going to allow you to create a lookalike audience, and they're going to ask you, how closely do you want to match that? And they're going to give you a 1 to 5 scale on that lookalike audience. Anything that is a 1 is the closest match, 2 is the next closest match, 5 is the furthest away. Start with a 1 and see what your results look like. If you're not getting enough traffic, if you're not getting enough leads, then expand that out to a 2. I would not go any further than a lookalike audience that is a level 2. because then you're starting to move quite a bit away from your original targeting parameters and your original data. And you'll find your leads may not be as close to your original data as you want them to be. So that's just another little tip for you as well. So now let's talk about having captivating visuals and persuasive copy. You have to remember, in today's world, on Facebook, on Instagram, what we're really trying to do is stop the scroll. People are on their smartphones, their tablets, they're on their laptops. What we're trying to get them to do is stop scrolling. And so we want to have captivating visuals. We want to have good copy that catches their attention. And so here's a couple of things we want to put in front of you today. Number one is have strong headlines. Protect your home for less than $1 a day. Or think about what's the pain point that you're trying to solve for that consumer. So if we can help resolve the pain point, if we can help stir the imagination, if we can help, you know, stir up whatever the challenge is, then we're going to be in a much better position with our ad. But what we've got to do first is we've got to get them to stop scrolling. And so the best thing to do is we want to show some imagery that's going to help do that. So we either want some strong images that are high resolution. That could be families, cars, local landmarks, or what's even better is to have video, short form video, 15 to 30 seconds. The algorithm on Facebook and Instagram actually prefers short form video, and short form video will stop the scroll better than a still image unless you have an image that really pops. And then you want to have a strong call to action. Get your free quote today, or message us now. We want to tell the prospect what it is we want them to do. We don't want to just have them see our ad. We want them to take an action. But we need to tell them what is the action we want them taking. And so pick a strong visual, strong headline, strong call to action, put those together to make your ad. Video is going to perform better than a still image. So if you've got short form video, it should perform better because the algorithm prefers video over still images. Now, once you've done that, you want to pick the best format to achieve your goals because you've got multiple ad formats to work with. So you've got carousel ads, which will show multiple things in a carousel round robin format. So this is a place where you could showcase multiple policies, for example, auto, home, renters, life, business, all in one ad. Have them rotating through on a carousel. You can use lead generation ads that allow clients to submit their info without ever leaving Facebook. And you have to remember, Facebook prefers this type of ad because Facebook likes to keep their users on platform because they can continue to collect data on the user. They can continue to advertise to the user, and you're going to get a little better cost per lead by keeping the user on Facebook. Again, as I said earlier, though, you're going to want to put some pre-screening questions onto those lead generation ad forms just to get a better quality of lead. Otherwise, the lead quality can be a little sloppy at times. And then, of course, video ads work extremely well. The algorithm shows favoritism to video ads. It's going to help build trust, and you can use a short explainer video about your services. Again, people do business with those they know, like, and trust, so it's always best if it features you or a member of your team who is doing the talking. That's always going to be preferable. Video is always first and foremost the best thing you can do. Video with faces works best in the Facebook and Instagram environment because it's a personal interaction, and that's what the algorithm and that's what the consumer on those platforms prefers. Now, let's talk about budgeting for success. How do you budget correctly with those ad campaigns? And so start small. We recommend that you start with a $10 to $20 a day budget. And as you find you're getting a positive return on your investment, you can always scale from there. I recommend that you always start at a $10 a day budget and then scale from there. That's going to give you sufficient traffic to determine if you've got a good ad campaign. You'll know whether or not your click-through rates are good. You'll know whether or not you're generating sufficient leads. If you're doing a lead campaign, you'll be able to judge your performance pretty quickly at that level. You want to schedule your ads to run during peak time. So know when your audience is most active on Facebook and on Instagram, and then run your ads accordingly. And then the two measurements that you really want to pay attention to are cost per click and cost per lead. And cost per click, of course, what you're looking at is for the amount of impressions that your ad is being shown, how many people are clicking on the ad, and that's your click-through rate. So anything above 1% is a good ad. Anything above 3% is a phenomenal ad. And so you really want to be trying to go 3% or better is your target. But if it's going over 1%, you still have a decent performing ad. But 3% is kind of the place you really want to be aiming for on your ad to make it really worthwhile to get a good ROI on that. And then, of course, you want to look at your cost per lead. And your cost per lead is going to be important based on the long-term value of a customer. So that's going to tell you what you can afford for cost per lead. So if the long-term value of that customer is a little higher, then you can afford to be a little more aggressive on your cost per lead. You can afford to spend a little more on your cost per lead. So you've got to let your numbers dictate where you go in this advertising campaign in your budgeting. So Ads Manager is the back end of Meta's advertising platform. And that's where you're going to do your measurements. It's where you're going to figure out if your ad campaign is successful or not. It's where you're going to look at your key metrics and make those decisions. And so, again, what we're going to look at is our click-through rate, our cost per lead. We're going to look at our frequency. And then we want to stop any underperforming ads. And then we want to double down on ads that have high click-through rates. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment and actually take you into our ads manager and just kind of walk you through the information that's back there so you know how to read that data and make some informed decisions when you're looking at yours. So let me switch screens here real quick. And let me zoom this in here. All right, so I'm going to show you two campaigns here. One's the webinar I ran yesterday for a group of construction companies. I did the similar webinar for them. So we were running a campaign where what we were after was event responses. And then this is a lead generation campaign we're running. So I'm going to show you the lead generation campaign first and break it down. So on the lead generation campaign, we're looking at data from February 1st through today. We've had 65 leads generated. We have shown our ad to 4,725 people. That's what reach is. Views is how many times the ad has been viewed, 8,195 times. So that means our audience of 4,000 plus people have seen that ad just under 2 times a piece. And we are currently landing leads at $5.70 per lead. So it's a good lead cost for us. We've spent $370.71 so far on this campaign this month. And these are the metrics that we're most interested in. down here at the end is our cost per click is $1.51 per click. Now, our click-through rate is 3.01%, so that's clicks to the ad. But then there's a second click metric that I'm interested in, and that is clicks to the link as well. So we've got our clicks to the ad, so 245 total clicks, 3% click-through rate, $1.51 per click. But then I want to know, okay, that's how many people click the ad, but I'm sending them to a landing page to collect leads. So what does that look like? Well, out of those 245 clicks, 185 of those individuals have clicked off to our landing page. And so that click-through rate is 2.27%. We're paying $2.01 per click there. And so that has netted us 60, what did we say there? 65 leads overall. So a couple things that I really like about this campaign, and this is one of the things that I like about Meta. Meta will push a lot of traffic to your website. So out of 245 people clicking on our ad, 185 of those have gone off to our website. So roughly 70% of the people that click the ad show up on our landing page. And out of those 70% of people that show up on our landing page, a third of those become leads. So we get a really good return, a really good flow through on our funnel off of this campaign. Now on the webinar campaign, we weren't sending people off site. We were keeping them on Meta. We just sent them to the event page on Meta. We ran this page, this campaign for about a week. We put it in front of 1,543 people. They saw it 2,391 times. We were paying 92 cents per event response. Spent $62.46. Click-through rate's not as high. Our click-through rate was $2 or 2.51%. We're paying $1.04 per click. We had 60 overall clicks. And then 3 people actually clicked off to a registration link. And then we had a total of 68 event responses. So we picked up some responses organically. We picked up some responses from the ads. Still not a bad campaign, but that's how you're going to read your data here on your dashboard. Main things you're going to want to look at is your results here. You're going to want to look at your reach, and then you're going to want to look at your cost per clicks, click-through rates, and then total clicks. And then if you're sending traffic offsite, you're also going to want to look at your link click-through rate to see what's the flow. Are you getting the majority of people who click your ad? Are they following all the way through and going to your landing page as well? So that's the flow of user flow that you're going to want to look at for that prospect. Are they making it all the way through your funnel to the target page that you're trying to send them to, so that they are getting the full effect of your advertising campaign? So with that, let's continue on here. Get back to our screen share. All right, and then stop your underperforming ads. Double down any ads that you have high click-through rates. Go ahead and expand those up. And here's an important thing. Don't let leads get away from you. And this is going to bring up one of the most important things you can do with meta ads, and that is called retargeting. And retargeting is going after users who visited your website or your landing page, but they didn't convert. And the way you do that is Meta has a pixel, and they have what is called Conversions API. And it's a bit of tracking code that you put in the header of the website. And so when somebody lands on the website, it tracks that user interaction and it feeds that data back to Meta. And so with that, you build an audience. And you can then launch a retargeting campaign, for example, offering a discount to users who clicked an ad for renter's insurance. That might be a way you would do that. And so this ad campaign is specifically for people who have raised their hand by visiting your website or your landing page, and you are marketing to them specifically because they have now shown higher intent. And so by doing that, what you're going to find is you get a higher rate of conversion overall because you are now remarketing to those individuals. And this is something we're all familiar with. If you've gone out to, a car dealership to look at cars, or you've gone to somewhere to look at shoes for the next couple of weeks, cars are following you around on the internet, or shoes are following you around on the internet. Same principle. You're being retargeted based on your user behavior. And this is what retargeting does. And the Meta platform is fantastic for this because it's so highly visual. And so you're able to visually follow up with somebody on that. We've got clients that will sometimes run a campaign that says, hey, I see you stopped by the website. Here's a special offer for you. And so there are many ways you can use that retargeting to your benefit. But ultimately, what it's going to do is it's going to improve the rate of conversion from prospect to customer. And that's what we ultimately want to do. Let's talk about again the next piece of the puzzle that's going to be critical for you as an agent, and that's advertising legally and effectively, making sure that you're compliant, making sure that you're following proper laws and guidelines as you advertise. And so, Meta's ad policy covers sensitive industries, insurance being one of those. For example, if you're running an auto insurance campaign, you have to denote that it is a financially related product where credit reports might get pulled. So before you can run the campaign, you have to mark that it falls in that category, or you can't run the campaign. Now, one of the things that happens because you mark it that way, there are some targeting options you're not allowed to use so that it is not discriminatory. So there are some things you're not allowed to do as far as age category. What am I trying to say? Age range categories, and some other of the targeting criteria you may not get to use, so that it's not considered discriminatory. You have to avoid misleading language. Things like guaranteed coverage is something that you're going to have to watch. And then, of course, based on who your carrier is that you're writing for, there's other compliance restrictions that you may not be able to use in your advertising. And then, of course, you've got state-specific considerations as well. No false claims about Medicare and other claims that you may not be able to make. There may be some other disclaimers you have to put in your advertising. There may be other disclosures that have to be in that advertising. So you have to make sure that you're following not only Meta's policies, but of course your state policies, and then your carrier policies and company policies as well as part of your advertising. And depending on what companies you represent, you may have to submit that advertising to the compliance department, get it approved before you can run those ads and get those live. Now, let's talk about some winning campaigns. What can you learn? Here's a couple of case studies. You have a Medicare agent who increased their leads by 40% just by using video ads. And again, video is a huge driver. The algorithm on Meta prefers video. In particular, it prefers short form video. So that's video that is under 60 seconds. And what it really prefers is video that is 30 seconds or less, and the sweet spot is somewhere around 15 to 20 seconds. Case study number 2 is a captive property and casualty agent who boosted their local awareness by targeting homeowners. They just simply ran a constant awareness campaign, so their name recognition just continued to elevate day in and day out. And so what we want to look at is that the challenges that they were trying to overcome in each case was they wanted to increase lead flow and they wanted to increase brand awareness. And so what they were doing with Meta was getting in front of more people more often and using Meta's platform to increase user engagement. And that's really where Meta works best. The thing that I will tell any agent is Meta is not always your best source for lead generation. Meta works best in combination with what we call the ecosystem. So if you are doing a good job on your local SEO, your Google business profile, your day-to-day marketing activities, Meta is a great fit and a great enhancement to that. It's not the silver bullet, it's not the magic bullet, but when used in conjunction with everything else, it can elevate your results and do a great job of bringing more eyeballs to you, bringing more leads to you, and then reinforcing the marketing activities you're already doing. What I really like Meta for is driving people to your website, getting them initially familiar with you, and then retargeting those individuals with Meta, sending them back into your ecosystem over and over again. Especially if you're blogging or you're doing any other kind of content, it is a great way to keep your name front and center in front of that audience on a continual basis and to keep them aware of what you're doing month in and month out, especially if you're doing things in your community, if you're running promotions in your office. It's a great way to keep engaged. It's a great way to have a dialogue with your prospective customers. So that being said, let's open it up if there's any questions that you'd like me to tackle for you as far as Meta advertising. Here's your opportunity. All right. Any questions? All right. Since it doesn't look like we have any questions, we'll end on this note. If you need any help putting together your marketing strategy, feel free to reach out to us at Agent Branding and Marketing. You can do that at agentbrandingmarketing.com/schedule, or you can call us at 888-572-8758, and we'll be happy to schedule a strategy session call with you. And thank you for coming out today. Our webinar next month will be on Google's Performance Max ad campaigns. That is their new AI-driven campaign model. And so we'll give you an introduction to that, tell you how those work. And thank you for coming out. We'll have the replay live in the next 24 hours.